Rain hammered my windshield like accusation fingers. I sat in my truck across from Adrian's apartment building, engine idling, watching the warm glow of his third-floor window. 2,300 hours on a Thursday night. Most people would be asleep. Most people weren't watching their fiancée kiss her ex-boyfriend goodnight. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Lila appeared in the doorway, laughing at something Adrian said. He stood behind her, shirtless, hand on the door frame like he owned the space, like he owned her. She turned, kissed his cheek, lingered there a second too long, then waved at my truck. Actually waved, like we were all friends here. My phone buzzed. Please stay supportive while I figure myself out. This is important for my growth. Love you. I stared at those words until they stopped making sense. Stay supportive. She'd used that phrase 17 times in the past month. I'd counted. Stay supportive while I need space. Stay supportive while I explore my feelings. Stay supportive while I move in with the man I dated for 3 years before you. Funny how clarity works. Hers came in Adrian's bed. Mine came with a single click. I opened my banking app. The screen glowed blue in the darkness, reflecting off my face. Lila Hart, authorized user, stared back at me from every account. Select all, remove authorized user, freeze joint cards, cancel autopay, suspend phone line, confirm. My thumb hovered over the button for exactly 2 seconds. Then I pressed it. The screen flashed green. Transaction complete. I looked back up at Adrian's window. The lights were still on. She was probably telling him how understanding I was, how patient, how supportive. I started the engine and pulled away from the curb. Funny how people find clarity, I said to my empty truck. Hers came in her ex's bed. Mine came with a single tap. 6 weeks earlier, none of this existed. 6 weeks earlier, I was still pretending everything was fine. I paid for everything. Rent, groceries, her car insurance, the gym membership she used twice a month, the spa appointments she kept religiously. Our shared condo in Harbor District cost $3,000 monthly. I covered it. Lila worked part-time in hospital PR, pulling maybe 30 hours weekly when she felt motivated. Her paychecks vanished into clothes, brunch with friends, and something she called self-care maintenance. "You're so supportive," she'd say, kissing my cheek before heading out for another girls' lunch. Most men wouldn't understand. I worked logistics coordination for Beacon Supply, managing freight routes and warehouse inventory. Not glamorous, not particularly exciting, but steady, reliable. The kind of work that kept bills paid and accounts positive. Sunday brunch at Marlowe's Cafe. Lila sat with Jenna Cross and 2 other bridesmaids whose names I could never remember. I'd been invited as an afterthought, arriving late after a morning shift emergency. "Daniel's basically my emotional donor," Lila announced, laughing as I slid into the booth. "And financial and domestic." The table erupted. Jenna snorted mimosa through her nose. The blonde one, Kelly, Kylie, slapped the table. Even I smiled, because what else do you do when your fiancé makes you the punchline? "Seriously, though," Lila continued, touching my arm with performative affection. "He never complains. I'm so lucky." "You really are," Jenna said, but her tone carried something else. Pity, maybe, or judgment disguised as agreement. I ordered coffee and eggs. Let them talk. Lila loved an audience, and her friends provided one enthusiastically. They discussed wedding plans, our wedding plans, like I wasn't sitting right there. Centerpieces, seating charts, whether ivory or cream worked better with the venue lighting. "Adrian would have an opinion," Jenna said suddenly. "Remember how he obsessed over aesthetics?" The table went quiet for half a second. Just half, but I caught it. "Adrian has opinions about everything," Lila said, voice carefully neutral. That's why we didn't work. She squeezed my hand. I squeezed back, ignored the way Jenna and blonde girl exchanged glances. I watched Lila's face as she redirected the conversation back to floral arrangements. Noticed the way her eyes lit up when discussing details, the animation in her gestures, the passion she never showed when talking about our actual relationship. Marriage for Lila wasn't about partnership. It was about performance. The dress, the venue, the photographs that would populate her social media for years. I was the acceptable groom, stable, employed, unlikely to cause drama or demand too much attention. What do you think, Daniel? Lila asked suddenly. I'd missed the question entirely. About what? The centerpieces? Roses or peonies? Whatever you prefer. See? Lila gestured to her friends. This is what I mean. He trusts my judgment completely. No micromanaging, no opinions I didn't ask for. Just support. The blonde one smiled tightly. Must be nice. It is, Lila agreed. Some women have to fight their partners on every little decision. Daniel just lets me handle things. Like I was granting permission instead of being excluded from decisions that supposedly involved both of us. Later, back at the condo, Lila showered while I cleaned up lunch dishes. Her phone sat on the counter, screen facing up. I wasn't looking, wasn't trying to look. But when it lit up, the notification filled half the display. Adrian. Last night was incredible. When can I see you again? I stood there, dish towel in hand, reading those words 3 times. Last night. Incredible. See you again. The shower stopped. I heard Lila humming something cheerful, oblivious. I set down the towel and walked to the bedroom, grabbed my jacket, called back through the bathroom door. Heading to the store. Need anything? Just your amazing supportiveness, she sang out. I sat in my truck in the grocery store parking lot for 40 minutes, engine off, staring at nothing. Last night, Lila had claimed she was doing inventory late at the hospital. Emergency shipment of supplies. She'd come home at midnight smelling like wine and wearing smudged makeup. Rough night, she'd said, collapsing into bed. Don't ever work healthcare events. I'd believed her. Why wouldn't I? People don't lie about working late. People don't text their ex-boyfriend about incredible nights while their fiancé does dishes 15 feet away. Except apparently they do. My phone rang. Reggie Miles, my supervisor at Beacon. You good? He asked without preamble. You left shift looking like someone ran over your dog. Woman trouble. The fiancé? Yeah. She cheating? I hesitated. I think so. You think or you know? I saw a text message from her ex about how incredible last night was. Reggie was quiet for a moment. Then, and you're sitting in a parking lot instead of confronting her. What's the point? She'll deny it, or explain it away, or make me feel guilty for not trusting her. So you're just going to accept it? I'm going to watch, and wait, and see what she does next. That's passive. That's strategic. Reggie laughed, but it wasn't amused. Strategy looks a lot like cowardice if you're not careful. But do what you need to do. Just don't lose yourself in the process. He hung up. I started the truck and drove home. Lila was in the living room, wrapped in a towel, scrolling through her phone. She looked up when I entered. Forget something at the store? Yeah, I said. My self-respect. She blinked. What? Nothing, just thinking out loud. I went to the bedroom and closed the door. Harbor General Hospital threw fundraisers quarterly. Big affairs with donated wine, silent auctions, and wealthy people pretending they cared about accessible health care. Lila worked these events as part of her PR role, and attendance was mandatory for significant others. I wore the suit she'd picked out. Navy, tailored, purchased with my credit card. She wore red, always red at these things, a dress that cost more than my monthly truck payment. You look incredible, I told her in the parking garage. I know, she said, checking her reflection in the car window. Adrian's going to be here tonight. Play nice. My stomach dropped. Adrian, your ex-boyfriend, Adrian. He's a friend now, Daniel. Adults can be mature about past relationships. She linked her arm through mine, steering us toward the entrance. Besides, he's considering a donation to the new wing. I need to keep him engaged. Keep him engaged. Interesting choice of words. The ballroom was already full when we arrived. Crystal chandeliers, round tables with white linens, a string quartet playing near the stage. Wealthy donors clustered in groups, discussing stock portfolios and vacation homes between bites of catered appetizers. Adrian Cole stood near the bar, tall and broad-shouldered, in a way that suggested personal trainers and expensive gyms. He smiled when he saw Lila, the kind of smile that reaches eyes and lingers too long. Lila, you look stunning. Adrian, this is Daniel, my fiancé. We shook hands. His grip was firm, deliberately so, the kind of handshake that communicates dominance rather than greeting. Daniel, Lila talks about you constantly. He held my gaze a beat too long. She says you're very supportive of her career. I try to be. That's rare. Most men feel threatened by ambitious women. He turned to Lila, angling his body to partially exclude me. That dress is perfect on you. The color brings out your eyes. You always had the best fashion sense, Lila said, touching his arm. Just briefly. Just enough. I excused myself to get drinks. Stood at the bar longer than necessary, watching them in my peripheral vision. The way Adrian leaned in when she spoke. The way Lila laughed, head tilted back, throat exposed. Body language I recognized because it used to be directed at me. The bartender handed me 2 glasses of wine. I turned back toward Lila and Adrian, planning my approach, when Jenna appeared beside me. They used to be hot together, she said, not looking at me. Like people would stare kind of hot. That was years ago. Some things don't fade. She collected her vodka tonic, paused. Lila would go back to him if he got his life together. She told me that once, before you. Said Adrian was the love of her life, but he couldn't commit. Too focused on his career, too unreliable with money, too volatile with emotions. Why are you telling me this? Jenna finally looked at me. Because you seem nice. And nice guys always get destroyed by women like Lila. She walked away before I could respond. I returned with Lila's wine. Found her and Adrian deep in conversation about donor outreach strategies, or maybe hospital expansion plans, or maybe nothing work-related at all. Hard to tell when 2 people are standing that close, speaking that quietly. Thanks, babe, Lila said, taking the glass without looking at me. Adrian was just saying how much he admires what we're building here. The hospital? I asked. Our relationship, Adrian said, smiling. What you 2 have. Very modern. Very secure. The word hung there like a challenge. Secure. As if he was testing whether I'd react, whether I'd show weakness, whether I was actually as supportive as advertised. I smiled back. Said nothing. Watched. Throughout the evening, I observed their interactions. The way Adrian's hand hovered near Lila's lower back when guiding her through crowds. The way she laughed too loud at his mediocre jokes. The way they disappeared together twice, once toward the restrooms, once toward the silent auction, and returned separately minutes apart. Around 10 p.m., Lila found me at our assigned table. Adrian offered to introduce me to some potential donors, she said, slightly breathless. Important connections for my career. I might be late coming home. How late? I don't know. These networking things run long sometimes. She kissed my cheek quickly. Don't wait up. You need sleep for your early shift tomorrow. She was gone before I could respond. I stayed another 30 minutes. Watched Adrian leave through the main entrance. Watched Lila follow 5 minutes later, checking her phone, smiling at something. I drove home alone. She returned at 1:15 a.m. I was still awake, pretending to read. How was networking? I asked. Exhausting, but productive. She kicked off her heels, started removing jewelry. Adrian introduced me to 3 major donors. Real connections, not just handshakes and business cards. Where did you go? Just a quiet bar nearby, easier to talk away from the crowd. She paused, sensing something. Why? Is something wrong? No, just curious. You sound suspicious. I'm just tired. She studied me for a moment, then shrugged. Well, I'm exhausted. These events take everything out of me. She went to the bathroom. I heard water running, makeup being removed, the familiar sounds of her nighttime routine. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Thought you should know. Your fiancé and Adrian left together in his car. They went to the Westwood Hotel bar, just sat in a corner booth for 2 hours. Very cozy, very intimate. Sorry. A concerned colleague. I stared at the message. Anonymous. Could be real. Could be fake. Could be someone trying to stir trouble. But it aligned with everything I'd been seeing. Lila emerged from the bathroom in pajamas, climbed into bed beside me. Love you, she murmured, already half asleep. I didn't respond. 2 weeks passed. Lila's work dinners increased in frequency. Tuesday night became networking night. Thursday night became donor cultivation night. Saturday afternoon became strategic planning session time. I said nothing. Just watched. Just documented mentally. Then came the Tuesday evening that changed everything. Lila came home from a work dinner at 10:30. I was reviewing supply manifests on the couch, half watching a documentary about freight logistics. We need to talk, she said, dropping her purse by the door. About us. About my growth. I muted the television. Okay. She sat across from me, not beside me. Strategic positioning. She'd thought about this conversation, rehearsed it, prepared her angles. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection lately, talking to my therapist about authentic living and emotional honesty. Okay, I said again. Adrian and I have been reconnecting, as friends, but there's this energy between us, this unresolved history, and I think I need to explore what that means before I can fully commit to marriage. My hands went cold. Explore. I'm moving in with Adrian for a little while, just temporarily, to get clarity about my feelings and figure out what I really want. I stared at her. You're moving in with your ex-boyfriend. I'm creating space for personal growth, she corrected, and I need you to stay supportive through this process. If you love me, you'll understand that this is about me finding myself, not about you. You want to live with another man and have me support that decision. I want you to trust me enough to let me work through complicated feelings without making it about your insecurity. She leaned forward, voice softening. Daniel, if you react badly to this, if you get jealous or controlling, you'll push me away. But if you're patient, if you're the understanding man I fell in love with, we'll come out stronger. I looked at her face, saw calculation behind the concern, manipulation dressed as vulnerability. She'd framed this perfectly. Any objection made me the villain. Any boundary made me unsupportive. She'd built a trap where the only acceptable response was compliance. When are you leaving? I asked. Relief flooded her features. Tomorrow. I've already packed some things, just essentials for now. What about rent? Bills? I assumed you'd handle that. It's only temporary and my paycheck is pretty stretched right now. She stood, kissed my forehead. Thank you for being amazing about this. I knew you'd understand. She disappeared into the bedroom. I heard drawers opening, hangers sliding. The sound of my fiancé packing to move in with another man, using luggage I'd bought her last Christmas. I sat on the couch, processing what had just happened. She wasn't asking permission. She was informing me of a decision already made. She wasn't concerned about my feelings. She was concerned about maintaining my financial support. Around midnight, I walked to the bedroom doorway. Lila had 2 suitcases open on the bed, methodically folding clothes. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "Of course. Do you love him?" She stopped folding. "I don't know. That's what I need to figure out." "Do you love me?" "Of course I do. This isn't about not loving you, Daniel. It's about understanding my own heart. Your heart that wants to sleep in another man's bed." Her face hardened. "Don't be crude. This is about emotional clarity, not intimacy. You're moving in with your ex-boyfriend, a man you dated for 3 years, a man you told Jenna was the love of your life, and you expect me to believe intimacy isn't part of the equation? How do you know what I told Jenna?" "She told me, at the gala, right before you disappeared with Adrian for 2 hours. Lila's jaw tightened. "You've been tracking my movements?" "I've been noticing patterns. There's a difference. This is exactly the kind of controlling behavior I'm trying to avoid." She returned to packing, movements sharp and angry now. "I'm doing this whether you approve or not. The only question is whether you'll be supportive or make everything harder." "Supportive," I repeated. That word again. "Yes, supportive. Like someone who actually loves me would be." I watched her pack for another minute. Then I walked away. Morning came. Lila loaded 2 suitcases into her car, the car I paid insurance on, wore sunglasses despite the overcast sky, smiled nervously. "I'll text you later," she said. "We should probably stay in communication, right? Keep things healthy?" "Sure." "You're really okay with this?" "Would it matter if I wasn't?" She hesitated, caught off guard by the question. "Of course it would matter. Your feelings matter, Daniel. I just hope you'll trust the process. The process of you living with another man while I pay your bills. Don't reduce it to that. This is about personal growth and emotional honesty." "Right. Growth. Got it." She studied my face, trying to read my expression. I kept it neutral. She wanted drama, emotion, desperate pleas to stay. I gave her nothing. "Okay then," she finally said. "I'll call you in a few days." She drove away. I watched until her car disappeared around the corner, then went back inside. The condo felt different. Quieter. Emptier in ways that had nothing to do with her physical absence. I opened my laptop and pulled up financial records. Started with bank accounts. Lila Hart, authorized user, appeared across 7 different accounts. Joint checking, savings, 2 credit cards, the emergency fund I'd been building for 5 years. Next came subscriptions and auto payments. Gym membership at $200 monthly. Streaming services, 5 different platforms. Cloud storage for her photography hobby. Her car insurance policy, registered under my name for better rates. Phone plan. She'd been added to my unlimited data 3 years ago. Spotify Premium, Audible subscription, monthly beauty box delivery, meal kit service she used twice then forgot about, but never canceled. I made a spreadsheet. Listed every account, every service, every recurring charge. Added dates, amounts, notes. 3 years of total financial support. Roughly $97,000 in housing, utilities, insurance, groceries, and entertainment. She'd contributed maybe $8,000 total, mostly in scattered grocery runs and the occasional dinner out when she felt generous. Then I calculated her spending on personal items, clothes, shoes, accessories, makeup, spa treatments, hair appointments, nail appointments, gym classes, dining out with friends. Another $42,000 over 3 years, all on credit cards where I was the primary account holder. Total investment in Lila Hart, $139,000. Return on investment, betrayal, manipulation, and a request to subsidize her affair. I didn't feel anger yet, just clarity. Cold, mathematical clarity. My phone buzzed. Text from Lila, sent from Adrian's address. "Made it safe. Adrian's place is really nice. Thanks for being so understanding about this. Don't be dramatic. Taking space might actually help our relationship long term. Miss you already." I stared at those words. Miss you already. She'd been gone 40 minutes. Another text arrived. "Also, my car insurance payment bounced. Can you check on that? and my phone bill is showing as past due. Probably just a banking error, but could you fix it? Thanks, babe. I set the phone down and opened my banking app. Sat there for 5 minutes, thumb hovering over account management. Then I started clicking. Lila never understood technology. She thought cloud sync was something computers did automatically, something she didn't need to worry about. She'd logged into her iCloud account on my iPad 2 years ago to check her email and never logged out. 3 days after she moved in with Adrian, I was reviewing logistics reports on that same iPad when a message notification popped up. From Jenna. How's the arrangement going? Is Daniel still being pathetic about it? My thumb hovered over the notification. I shouldn't open it. Invasion of privacy, breach of trust, all those things that mattered when relationships operated on honesty. But Lila had moved in with her ex-boyfriend. I was past caring about privacy. I opened it. Lila. He's being perfect, actually. Hasn't complained once. Didn't even argue when I left. I think he's relieved to have space, too. Jenna. Girl, you know he's dying inside, right? No man is that chill about his fiancée moving in with her ex. Lila. Daniel's different. He's too soft to ever leave or cut me off. He loves me too much. Or maybe he's just too weak to make a real decision. Jenna. That's harsh. Lila. It's honest. Daniel will pay for everything anyway, no matter what I do. Why would I give that up? Adrian's exciting and passionate, but Daniel's stable and reliable. I can have both. Jenna. You're using him. Lila. I'm being practical. There's a difference. My hands tightened on the iPad edges. I kept reading, scrolled through days of conversations, found exchanges with Adrian that made my stomach turn. Adrian. You can't stay here for free forever. I'm not running a charity. Lila. Daniel covers my expenses. I'm not asking you for money. Adrian. Then what am I getting out of this arrangement? Lila. Are you seriously complaining about the physical situation right now? Adrian. I'm saying there needs to be more benefit on my end. Otherwise, what's the point? Lila. The point is we're good together. We always have been. The chemistry is still there. You know it is. Adrian. We were good together when you weren't engaged to another man. Lila. Then maybe I shouldn't be engaged anymore. Would that make you happy? Adrian. Would you actually leave him? Lila. I don't know. Depends on whether you can offer what he does. Stability, security, consistency, all those boring things you always hated. Adrian. But you're here with me. Lila. For now. But long term? I need guarantees, Adrian. I'm not getting younger. I need to know what I'm choosing. I found another conversation from earlier that day. Lila to Jenna. Adrian's amazing in bed but terrible with money. Did you know he's still paying off student loans? And his credit cards are maxed? I saw a collection notice on his counter this morning. Jenna. So why are you there? Lila. Because the passion is real. With Daniel, everything is comfortable but flat. No excitement, no intensity. Adrian makes me feel alive again. Jenna. But you're keeping Daniel on standby. Lila. I'm keeping my options open. If Daniel loved me, he'd support me through this confusion. If he doesn't, then I know where we stand. I set the iPad down carefully, stood up, walked to the kitchen, drank a glass of water, returned and kept reading. Conversation with her mother from yesterday. Mom. How's wedding planning going? Lila. Actually, I'm taking some time to figure things out. Moved in with an old friend temporarily. Mom. What friend? Lila. Just someone from my past. We're helping each other through complicated situations. Mom. Does Daniel know about this? Lila. Of course. He's being very supportive, very mature about giving me space. Mom. I don't understand. You're getting married in 6 months. Lila. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm reconsidering everything right now. Mom. Lila, don't make a mistake you'll regret. Daniel is a good man. Lila. Good men are everywhere, Mom. Passionate men who actually excite me are rare. I read every message, every text, every email synced through her account, took screenshots of everything relevant, saved them to a separate encrypted folder. Not because I planned to use them immediately, because I needed to see everything clearly, needed to understand exactly what I was dealing with. Final message from earlier that evening, sent to a friend I didn't recognize. Lila. Honestly, if Daniel loved me, he'd support me through this confusion no matter what. Instead, he's just quietly accepting it. That's not love, that's weakness. That's a man too afraid to lose me, so he'll tolerate anything. I can do whatever I want and he'll still be there. That's not a partner. That's a doormat. I closed the iPad. Sat in silence for a long time. Thought about the woman I'd planned to marry. The woman who'd been living in my home, spending my money, building her life on my foundation while simultaneously destroying it from the inside. Weakness, she'd called it. Accepting her betrayal was weakness. Doormat. Too afraid to lose her. She was about to learn the difference between weakness and patience, between fear and strategy, between being a doormat and being someone who'd been quietly building a case. I picked up my phone and made a call. The call connected after 3 rings. Harbor General Hospital Directory Assistants. I need to reach someone on staff. Jane Cole, Pediatric Nursing. One moment, please. Soft hold music played. I waited, heart pounding slightly. This was the first active move, the first step from observation to action. Pediatric unit, this is Jane. Her voice was professional, crisp, efficient. Mrs. Cole, my name is Daniel Keene. I don't think we've met, but we have a situation in common that requires conversation. Would you be willing to meet for coffee? Long pause. How did you get this number? Hospital directory. I work logistics for Beacon Supply. We deliver here sometimes. What situation are we supposedly sharing? Your husband Adrian and my fiancée Lila are currently living together. I think we should talk about that. Silence stretched for several seconds. Tuesday, she finally said. 3 p.m. Morrison's Cafe on 5th Street. Come alone. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. She hung up. Tuesday afternoon, Morrison's Cafe was quiet. I arrived early, ordered coffee, sat in a corner booth where I could see the entrance. Jane Cole entered at exactly 3 p.m. She was smaller than I'd expected from her voice. Delicate features, careful eyes, dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. She wore scrubs under a cardigan, like she'd come straight from work. She spotted me immediately, walked over, sat down without ceremony. You're Lila's fiancé, she said. Not a question. Was, probably. She's living with Adrian. Has been for 8 days. Jane nodded slowly, studying my face. You seem very calm about this. I've had time to process. You? I filed for separation 3 months ago. Divorce papers are in progress. I stopped being surprised by Adrian's behavior a long time ago. But you didn't know about Lila. I suspected someone existed. He stopped pretending to be subtle about 3 weeks ago, started coming home late when he came home at all, stopped answering questions, developed this attitude like I was inconveniencing him by existing in the same space. She signaled the waitress, ordered black coffee. Then a friend sent me photos from the hospital gala. Your fiancé and my husband looking very comfortable together. I was at that gala. I know. You were the man standing alone at the bar while they disappeared into corners. Her coffee arrived. She took a sip, eyes never leaving mine. So, why did you want to meet? Because I think we can help each other. Help how? You want your separation finalized cleanly. No complications, no contested assets, no drawn-out legal battles. I want Lila to understand that actions have consequences. Those goals aren't contradictory. Jane set down her cup carefully. What are you suggesting? Nothing illegal, nothing violent, just truth at the right time to the right people. You want revenge. I want clarity. Same thing Lila wanted when she moved in with your husband. I'm just being supportive. A smile touched Jane's lips. Small, cold, understanding. Tell me what you know about Adrian. Not much. Surgeon, former athlete, apparently irresistible to my fiancé. He's an orthopedic surgeon with a severe temper problem. 3 formal complaints filed by nurses in the past 18 months. Throwing instruments in the OR when procedures don't go perfectly. Yelling at residents until they cry. One incident where he grabbed a scrub nurse's arm hard enough to leave bruises when she handed him the wrong tool. Why is he still employed? Because he brings in wealthy patients. Rich people with sports injuries and joint problems who pay out of pocket. Hospital administration makes money, so they sweep complaints under the rug. She leaned forward. But there's a file. Everything documented. Just waiting for one more incident to become actionable. You have access to this file? I know people who do. Nurses talk. We protect each other. Lila thinks Adrian is her stable backup plan. Lila is about to learn that Adrian's stability is an illusion. He's drowning in debt. Student loans, credit cards, a car lease he can't afford. That's partly why I filed for separation. I got tired of covering his bills so he could maintain his surgeon lifestyle. I pulled out my phone, showed her some of the screenshots from Lila's messages. She's realizing the money situation, but she's telling people she can keep both of us. Me for stability, him for passion. Jane read the messages, face hardening. She calls you weak. Among other things. She's using you. She's been using me for 3 years. I just finally have proof. We talked for 2 hours, shared information, compared timelines, built understanding. Jane was sharper than I'd expected, more strategic, angrier under her composed surface. If we're doing this, she said finally, we do it completely. No half measures. These 2 people humiliated us publicly and privately. They deserve the same in return. Agreed. And when it's done, we walk away clean. No guilt, no second guessing, no looking back. Agreed. She extended her hand across the table. I shook it. Her grip was firm, certain. Let's ruin the story they told about us, Jane said, and the story they told about themselves. What's the first move? Information gathering. I need you to document everything. Every message, every financial transaction, every pattern of behavior. Build an undeniable case. Already started. Good. I'll work my contacts at the hospital. Adrian's going to have another incident. They always do when they think they're safe. And when he does, I'll make sure it's the incident that ends his career there. What about Lila? She's built her reputation on being the perfect hospital PR employee. Professional, connected, trustworthy. What happens when everyone realizes she's sleeping with a married surgeon while engaged to another man, while using her position to facilitate the affair? She loses her job. She loses everything, just like we did. Thursday morning, 5 a.m. Beacon Supply Warehouse was empty except for Reggie Miles and me. He'd texted me the night before with a simple message. Be here early. Time to learn. I arrived to find him in the loading bay, cigarette in one hand, coffee in the other. You look like someone who's made a decision, he said by way of greeting. I have. Good. Decisions are better than waiting. He crushed the cigarette under his boot, gestured toward the cleared space near the loading docks. Come here. We're going to teach you how to stop being a target. I don't want to hurt anyone. Neither do I. That's not what this is about. He set down his coffee, moved to the center of the cleared area. This is about control. Control of space, control of tempo, control of outcomes. Someone gets in your face, you don't back up. You don't escalate. You hold ground and make them decide if they're really willing to commit. For the next 90 minutes, Reggie taught me basics, not fighting, defending. How to stand your ground without aggression. How to create space without retreating. How to end confrontation before it becomes physical. Wait here, he instructed, tapping my front foot. Hands up but open. Non-threatening but ready. Eyes on their chest, not their eyes. You watch the chest, you see movement before it happens. We drilled scenarios. Someone approaching aggressively. Someone grabbing your shoulder. Someone trying to intimidate with proximity. You're not trying to win fights, Reggie emphasized repeatedly. You're trying to make the other person realize starting one was a mistake. By 6:30, I was exhausted and bruised. Reggie handed me water. Better. You're still soft, but you're learning. He lit another cigarette. This surgeon coming after you? Maybe. Probably. He's the type. Good. Let him. With witnesses. On camera if possible. Then you defend yourself just enough to show you're not helpless, but not enough to make yourself the aggressor. He exhaled smoke. The key is looking like the victim while actually being in control. That feels manipulative. It is manipulative. So is your fiancé living with another man while spending your money? You going to fight fair while they fight dirty? No. Then stop apologizing for being strategic. He gestured toward the warehouse office. Get cleaned up. Shift starts in an hour. And Daniel? Yeah? Stop thinking like a victim. Victims wait for permission to defend themselves. You don't need permission to protect yourself. Saturday morning, 11 days since Lila moved out. I woke early, made coffee, opened my laptop, and started systematically dismantling her financial access to my life. Joint checking account. Removed authorized user status. Transaction confirmed. Joint savings account. Removed authorized user status. Transaction confirmed. Primary credit card. Removed authorized user status. Transaction confirmed. Secondary credit card. Removed authorized user status. Transaction confirmed. Emergency fund account. Restricted access to primary holder only. Transaction confirmed. I worked through the list methodically. Each click was deliberate, final, irreversible. Gym membership canceled. Refund issued for remaining month. Netflix account. Removed her profile. Subscription continues on my account only. Hulu account. Removed her profile. Spotify Premium. Removed authorized user. Cloud storage subscription. Deleted shared folders. Removed access. Meal kit delivery service. Canceled completely. Beauty box subscription. Canceled. Car insurance policy. Removed her as covered driver. Transferred policy to my name only. Confirmed with insurance agent over phone that she no longer had coverage on the vehicle registered to her. Phone plan. Suspended her line, effective immediately. Number ported out of my account. Healthcare benefits through Beacon Supply. Submitted removal request to HR. Effective end of month. Student loan automatic payments. Canceled. She'd set up my account to auto-pay her monthly minimum. Not anymore. Every account, every subscription, every automated payment that connected her to my financial life. Gone. The whole process took 90 minutes. Typing passwords, clicking confirmations, watching her name disappear from my financial infrastructure. When I finished, I made fresh coffee and waited. My phone rang at 12:45 p.m. Lila. I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 12:47, again at 12:50, at 12:52. I answered on the fifth call. Why are all my cards declining? Her voice was sharp, panicked, slightly shrill. I tried to buy groceries and the card rejected. Then I tried the other card and the same thing happened. Then I tried to pay for gas and nothing worked. What's going on? I removed you as an authorized user from all accounts. Silence. Then, you what? You heard me. I removed your access to my accounts. Those are our accounts. No, they're my accounts where you were an authorized user. Important distinction. Daniel, this isn't funny. Turn my cards back on right now. No. What do you mean, no? I mean, no. You said you needed space to figure yourself out. I'm supporting that. You're figuring yourself out independently now. That includes finances. You can't just cut me off like this. Actually, I can. They're my accounts. You were authorized to use them at my discretion. I'm no longer exercising that discretion. I'm your fiancé. You're my ex-fiancé who's currently living with another man. Why would I continue paying for that arrangement? I heard Adrian's voice in the background, muffled but clearly angry. What's going on? Lila to Adrian. He cut off all my cards. Adrian. What do you mean cut off? You said you had your own money. Lila. I do. I have access. Usually. Adrian. So you're broke? You've been staying here rent-free, eating my food, using my electricity, and you're completely broke? Lila back to me. Daniel, please, this is extreme. I need money for basic expenses. Then get a job. I have a job. Part-time, 30 hours a week at most, and your paycheck barely covers your personal shopping. That's not going to sustain you. So what am I supposed to do? Ask your boyfriend to support you, or get a full-time job, or move back home with your parents, or make any number of adult decisions that don't involve my bank account. You're being vindictive. I'm being practical. You wanted independence and space. You got it. Congratulations. This is emotional abuse. I almost laughed. Emotional abuse is gaslighting someone while sleeping with your ex. Financial boundaries are just healthy decision-making. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe it took me this long. Daniel... I hung up. She called back immediately. I declined the call. She called again. I blocked the number. 2 minutes later, Jenna called. What the hell did you do? She demanded without preamble. Lila is freaking out. She's crying in Adrian's kitchen saying you destroyed her life. I stopped subsidizing her affair. That's not destruction. That's just removal of support. She needs money for basic expenses. Then she should probably have thought about that before moving in with another man while expecting me to continue funding her lifestyle. You're being cruel. I'm being realistic. She made a choice. Choices have consequences. This is hers. She has nothing, Daniel. No money, no credit cards, no phone. She has a job. She has a boyfriend with a surgeon's salary. She has parents. She has options. They just don't include me anymore. You're an asshole. Maybe, but I'm not a doormat. Not anymore, and you can tell her I said that. She called you weak, said you'd never have the courage to actually leave or cut her off. Funny how things change when people finally get tired of being used. She really loved you, you know. No, she loved my money and my willingness to not ask questions. There's a difference. You know it. I know it. She knows it. We're all just finally being honest about it. Jenna was quiet for a moment. She's going to make your life hell. She already did. Now I'm just returning the favor. I hung up. My phone continued ringing. Friends of Lila's, people I barely knew, all calling to yell at me or plead her case. I declined every call, blocked several numbers. Around 3 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You're destroying someone who just needed support during a difficult time. You're selfish and heartless. I hope you're proud of yourself. I blocked that number too. Another text from another unknown number. Lila is devastated. She thought you loved her. Guess she was wrong. I blocked it. They kept coming. 5 more texts from different numbers, all saying variations of the same thing. I was cruel, heartless, vindictive, selfish, abusive. I turned off my phone entirely and went for a drive. Monday afternoon. Harbor General's parking garage, level 3. I'd come to drop off medical supplies Beacon was contracting. Legitimate business, not stalking. Just terrible timing. Or maybe perfect timing, depending on perspective. Adrian's BMW was parked near the stairwell. I recognized it from the gala. Vanity plates reading Surgeon 1. I was loading equipment onto a dolly when footsteps echoed behind me. Fast footsteps. Aggressive footsteps. Daniel! I turned. Adrian was walking toward me quickly, still in scrubs, face tight with anger. We need to talk, he said. I'm working. I don't care. We're talking now. He stopped about 3 feet away, arms crossed, body language aggressive. You cut Lila off. Completely. That's unacceptable. It's my money, I can do what I want with it. She's your fiancée. She's your roommate. If she needs financial support, maybe her boyfriend should provide it. Adrian's jaw tightened. She moved in with me for emotional support, for space to figure out her feelings. That doesn't mean you get to sabotage her financially. I'm not sabotaging anyone. I'm simply not paying for her to live with another man. That's called common sense. You're being petty and cruel. Lila made a difficult choice for her personal growth, and you're punishing her for it. I'm supporting her independence. That's what she asked for. By cutting off her phone, her insurance, her credit cards, everything. By stopping my financial involvement in her life. She wanted space. She got it. Complete space, including financial space. Adrian moved closer, invaded my personal space deliberately. I could smell his cologne, see the anger in his eyes. You're going to turn everything back on, he said quietly. Cards, phone, insurance, all of it. Today. I looked at him steadily, didn't step back. No. Or what? Or nothing. I'm just not doing it. His hand shot out, grabbed my shoulder hard, spun me around. You're going to fix this. Right now. Pull out your phone and reverse everything. I looked down at his hand on my shoulder, then up at his face. Reggie's training clicked in. Don't escalate. Hold ground. Make him commit to crossing the line. Remove your hand, I said quietly. Or what? Or you'll be explaining to hospital security why you assaulted someone in their parking garage. This isn't assault. This is a conversation. Physical contact without consent. That's assault by definition. I didn't move, didn't flinch, just held his gaze. Your choice, Adrian. Remove your hand or explain yourself to security and have another formal complaint added to your file. His eyes widened slightly. What file? The one documenting your temper issues. The one where 3 nurses have already filed formal complaints about your behavior in the OR. That file. He shoved me backward. Not hard enough to drop me, just enough to establish dominance, to show he was in control. I caught myself against the dolly, stayed upright. You don't know what you're talking about, Adrian said. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And so does hospital administration. One more incident, Adrian, that's all it takes. You're threatening me? I'm stating facts. You have anger problems. You have complaints in your file. You're currently grabbing a contractor in the hospital parking garage. How do you think that looks? He moved forward again, jaw tight, fists clenched. You sanctimonious. Problem here? Security guard, mid-40s, alert eyes, hand on his radio. He'd appeared from behind a concrete pillar, must have heard raised voices. Adrian's whole body language changed instantly, softened. Professional mask sliding back into place like a costume. No problem, officer. Just having a discussion. Looked like more than discussion from where I stood, the guard said, eyes on Adrian. You okay, sir? He was asking me, not Adrian. The surgeon in expensive scrubs with the hospital badge. Me, the contractor in work clothes. I'm fine, I said. Just finishing a delivery. Good. The guard stepped closer, positioning himself between Adrian and me. Dr. Cole, your shift ended 30 minutes ago according to the schedule. Maybe it's time to head home. Adrian's face flushed red. I'm allowed to be in this garage. Absolutely. But maybe continue your conversation elsewhere. Or better yet, end it here. The guard's tone left no room for argument. Adrian shot me a final glare, then walked to his BMW and drove off too fast, tires squealing on the concrete in a way that echoed through the entire structure. The guard waited until Adrian's car disappeared down the exit ramp, then approached me. You with Beacon Supply? Yeah, Daniel Keene. Mike Torres, been security here 9 years. He glanced toward where Adrian had left. That doctor's got a temper problem. This isn't the first time I've seen him get physical. We've had multiple complaints from staff. He grabbed my shoulder. I saw. I was about to intervene when you handled it verbally. Smart move, by the way. Non-confrontational but firm. I didn't want trouble. You didn't cause trouble. He did. Mike pulled out a business card, handed it to me. If he bothers you again, call me directly. We've been documenting his behavior. Another incident might actually get administration to take action. I took the card. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just doing my job. But between you and me? He lowered his voice slightly. Dr. Cole's been on thin ice for months. Nurses won't work with him if they can avoid it. Residents request transfers out of his rotations. He's good at surgery, I'll give him that. But his people skills are toxic. Why hasn't he been fired? Money. He brings in wealthy patients who pay cash for elective procedures. Hospital makes too much profit to care about his attitude. Mike shrugged. But eventually, something breaks. Always does. I finished loading my delivery, thanked Mike again, and left. Drove back to Beacon with my hands steady on the wheel, mind processing what had happened. Adrian had assaulted me in front of a witness, had shown his temper to hospital security, had added one more incident to a growing file of problems, exactly what Jane said would happen. I pulled into Beacon's lot and texted her. Adrian confronted me at the hospital, got physical. Security witnessed it. She replied within seconds. Perfect. Security guard's name? Mike Torres. I know Mike. Good man. He'll document everything. You're okay? Fine. He barely touched me. But he did touch you. That's what matters. Send me details when you can. This is building into something administration can't ignore. I sat in my truck for a few minutes, then went inside to finish my shift. Reggie found me in the warehouse 20 minutes later. Heard you had an encounter at the hospital, he said. News travels fast. Mike Torres is my cousin. He called me right after it happened. Said you handled yourself well. I used what you taught me. Good. That surgeon put hands on you in front of a witness. If he does it again, he's done. Think he will? Men like that always do. They can't help themselves. They think they're untouchable, so they keep pushing until something pushes back. Reggie lit a cigarette. You ready for that? I think so. You think or you know? I know. Good. Because it's coming. Jane moved faster than I expected. Within 48 hours of our coffee meeting, carefully worded truths started circulating through the hospital's extensive social network. Not lies, not exaggerations, just facts delivered to the right people at the right moments. Did you hear Adrian and Lila are living together? She moved in almost 2 weeks ago. Isn't she engaged to someone else? Technically still wearing the ring, I heard. That's wild. Who's the fiancé? Some logistics guy, Daniel something. Really nice, actually. Delivered supplies here last week. Very professional, very respectful. Is he okay with this arrangement? He hasn't said anything publicly. Very mature about the whole situation. That's either incredibly secure or incredibly doormat. No, I talked to him briefly. Seems secure. Just quiet. Letting her make her choices without drama. Hospital staff loved gossip. They consumed it, analyzed it, spread it like wildfire through break rooms and nursing stations. And this story, married surgeon's estranged wife remaining dignified while husband moves in his girlfriend who's still engaged to another man, this story had everything. Drama, betrayal, complexity, moral ambiguity. By Wednesday, the story had reached critical mass. Everyone knew. Doctors, nurses, admin staff, even janitors were discussing it. Jenna tried desperately to control the narrative, posted on social media about complicated relationships and supporting friends through growth journeys. Wrote long captions about how love isn't always simple, how mature adults navigate difficult emotions, how judgment helps no one. But Jane had screenshots, messages where Jenna had called Lila manipulative, where she'd expressed serious doubt about the arrangement, where she'd admitted the whole situation was completely messed up and probably going to end badly. Jane sent those screenshots to 3 other bridesmaids, women who'd felt excluded from Jenna's inner circle, who'd been hurt by her gossip in the past, who were absolutely thrilled to see her hypocrisy exposed. Within hours, Jenna was defending herself instead of defending Lila. The gossip fractured, turned inward, became about loyalty and honesty and who knew what when. Thursday evening, Lila posted an Instagram story. Artistic photo of Adrian's apartment window at sunset, city lights in the background. Caption reading, "Some people don't know how to love during hard times. Real growth requires real support." The post got immediate engagement, hundreds of likes in the first hour. Comments ranged from supportive to confused to critical. Then Jane commented publicly, "Some people create the hard times. Real growth requires real honesty." The comment blew up. 2,000 likes in 3 hours, triple the engagement of the original post. Comments section erupted into chaos. Wait, isn't she engaged to someone else? She's living with her ex while engaged? That's absolutely wild. The fiancé must be a saint for tolerating this. Or a doormat. No, I know him. He's actually really decent. Very kind, very respectful. This whole situation is messed up. She moved in with another man and expects support? That's not growth, that's manipulation. Adrian is married. This is so messy. Adrian's getting divorced. Still messy, though. How is the fiancé handling this? Quietly, from what I hear, just stepped back and let her make her choices. That's the most dignified response possible, honestly. Or the saddest. Lila deleted the story after 3 hours. Too late. Screenshots had already circulated through multiple group chats, been saved and reshared and analyzed. By Friday morning, Lila's carefully constructed image as the put-together hospital PR professional had significant cracks. Friday afternoon, Jenna called me. "You need to stop this," she said without preamble. "Whatever you're doing with Jane Cole, it's cruel. You're destroying Lila's reputation." "I'm not doing anything. I haven't posted anything, said anything publicly, or made any statements." "You coordinated with Jane. You're orchestrating this gossip campaign." "Jane and I had coffee once. We compared notes about being betrayed by the same 2 people. That's not orchestration. That's just 2 people realizing they have common experiences." "You're using social dynamics to humiliate Lila." Lila humiliated herself when she moved in with her ex-boyfriend while engaged to me and expected everyone to applaud her courage. She's being destroyed on social media. She posted seeking validation for her choices. She got honest feedback instead. That's not destruction. That's consequences. "Daniel, please." Jenna's voice cracked. "She's my friend. She's going through something really difficult. She's going through something she chose, deliberately, with full awareness of what she was doing. People make mistakes. She didn't make a mistake. She made a calculated decision to keep me as financial support while pursuing her ex-boyfriend. Then she made another calculated decision to frame it as personal growth instead of what it actually is. An affair. You're being vindictive." "I'm being honest. She wanted support for her choices. I'm providing it. I'm supporting her independence. I'm supporting her experiencing the full consequences of her actions. I'm being incredibly supportive." Jenna was quiet for a long moment. "I just wanted to help her." "Then be a better friend. Tell her the truth about how this looks. Tell her that actions have consequences. Tell her that supportive doesn't mean complicit, and friends don't enable destructive behavior." She started crying. "I don't know what to do." "That's not my problem. You chose to defend someone who's publicly humiliating both their current partner and their affair partner's wife. You chose to make excuses for objectively terrible behavior. Now you're dealing with the social consequences of that choice. She told me you were weak, that you'd never actually do anything. Weakness is accepting betrayal. Strength is establishing boundaries. She confused the two. I hung up. Saturday morning, 2 weeks after the freeze. Jane and I met at Morrison's Cafe again. She arrived with a thick folder of documentation. "Hospital administration is finally reviewing Adrian's complaints formally," she said, sliding into the booth. 3 nurses filed official reports last month. My lawyer friend ensured they couldn't bury it this time. Will he be suspended? Depends on what the review finds, but his reputation is damaged regardless. Surgeons are talking, nurses are refusing to work his shifts. Admin has to do something now that it's public knowledge. Good. She slid the folder across the table. Your turn. Tell me about Beacon Supply. I hesitated. What about it? Daniel, I'm a nurse. I notice details. You drive a modest truck, live in a decent but not expensive condo, dress like someone on a budget. But you moved through that hospital gala like you belonged there. You spoke to wealthy donors with confidence, not awkwardness. And when I looked up Beacon Supply, I found something interesting in the business filings. What's that? The company was co-founded 8 years ago by Reginald Miles and Daniel Keene. Miles bought out Keene's operational share 6 years ago, but Keene retained a 15% silent partnership stake. The company's currently valued at approximately $18 million based on the latest valuation. She leaned forward. You're not some struggling logistics coordinator barely making ends meet. You're a millionaire playing working class. I said nothing. Why? Jane asked. Why pretend? Because I hate attention. I hated managing people, hated the pressure of decision-making, hated everything about running a company. Reggie loved it. He's a natural leader, so I sold him my operational stake, kept the silent partnership for passive income, and went back to coordinating freight. Simple work. No stress, no spotlight, no expectations. And Lila doesn't know. Lila thinks I'm barely middle class. She assumed my stable paychecks meant stable life, nothing more. She never asked about investments or savings or anything beyond month-to-month expenses. Never wondered why I could afford a nice condo and reliable truck on a logistics coordinator salary. She thought you were financially dependent on your job. She thought I was exactly what I appeared to be. Boring, reliable, financially adequate but not impressive. I smiled without humor. She left me for Adrian because she thought he was the upgrade. Surgeon salary versus warehouse wages. Status versus working class. Exciting versus comfortable. But Adrian's drowning in debt. I know, you told me. He spends everything he makes trying to look successful. Car lease, expensive apartment, designer clothes, dining at restaurants he can't afford, all appearance, no substance. And Lila's about to learn that appearance isn't substance. She's about to learn that she traded actual stability for the illusion of it. Jane sat back, processing this information. You let her think you were helpless, dependent, unimpressive. I let her reveal who she really was without my money influencing her behavior. If I'd told her the truth about my financial situation, she would have stayed for the money, not for me. This way, I know exactly what I'm dealing with. She chose Adrian over me, thinking he had more to offer. That tells me everything I need to know about her values. You're more calculating than you appear. I'm thorough. There's a difference. Does Reggie know about this plan? Reggie knows I'm not fighting for Lila back. He doesn't know the details, doesn't need to. Jane tapped her fingers on the folder. So what's the endgame? Complete independence for Lila. She wanted to figure herself out. She'll figure out exactly what life is like without my financial support, without my emotional stability, without any of the things she took for granted. And Adrian? Adrian's going to learn that actions have professional consequences, that hospitals care about liability, that anger management issues eventually catch up. We're destroying them. We're removing our support from their poor choices. What they do with that is entirely up to them. That's a nice rationalization. That's the truth. We're not making Adrian assault people or throw instruments in surgery. We're not making Lila cheat and lie and manipulate. We're just stopping our participation in enabling that behavior. Jane smiled, cold, satisfied, understanding. I like you, Daniel. You're much smarter than you pretend to be. Thank you. You're much more strategic than you appear. Pediatric nursing teaches you patience and precision. I'm using those skills in a new context. We spent another hour refining our approach. Jane had contacts throughout the hospital. I had financial records and message screenshots. Together, we had a complete picture of two people who'd created their own destruction. One more thing. Jane said as we prepared to leave. What happens after? When this is all done? After? After they've lost everything they built on our backs. After consequences arrive. After we've made our point. What happens to you? I considered the question. I move forward. Continue working, continue living, continue existing, without someone who saw me as a resource instead of a person. And if Lila comes back, apologizes, begs? She won't. But if she does, the answer is no. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Good. Jane stood, collected her folder. Stay strong, Daniel. This gets harder before it gets easier. I know. She left. I sat alone with my coffee, thinking about masks and truths, and the difference between appearing weak and strategically choosing to observe before acting. Lila had called me weak, a doormat, too afraid to lose her. She was about to learn exactly how wrong she'd been. Monday evening, 6 p.m. I was leaving Beacon's main office after finishing supply audits when Adrian's BMW screeched into the parking lot. He parked sideways across 2 spaces, jumped out, and started walking toward me with aggressive purpose. Lila climbed out of the passenger seat, hurrying to keep up. Daniel, wait! Please wait! I kept walking toward my truck, keys in hand. Adrian cut me off, positioned himself between me and the vehicle. We need to settle this right now, he said. Aggressive stance, shoulders squared, jaw tight. There's nothing to settle. Move. You're making Lila's life impossible. I'm making her responsible for her own life. Different thing. You cut off her phone, her insurance, her ability to function like a normal person. I removed my support from someone who decided she didn't want to be with me. That's called consequences. Lila circled around, positioned herself between us. Please, Daniel, can we just talk about this like adults? Like rational people who used to love each other? You made your choice. You chose Adrian. You chose to move in with him. You chose to ask me to be supportive while you destroyed our relationship. I'm being supportive. I'm supporting your independence. I chose to explore my feelings. In his bed, with my money, while wearing the ring I bought you. I gestured at her left hand. The engagement ring was still there, diamond glinting under parking lot lights. Take that off. No. It's mine. I want it back. We're still engaged. We're absolutely not. You're just too entitled to admit it. I looked at Adrian. You wanted her? Congratulations. She's yours. All of her. Her expenses, her drama, her complete inability to function independently, her delusional belief that she can keep both of us on standby. She's entirely your problem now. Adrian's face darkened dangerously. You smug piece of... He lunged forward, fast and angry. I stepped back, hands up, not defensive but not inviting conflict, creating space, Reggie's training. Adrian swung anyway, wide, telegraphed, fueled by anger instead of precision. I sidestepped, let his momentum carry him past me. He stumbled, caught himself against my truck, turned back. Adrian, stop! Lila grabbed his arm, tried to pull him back. He shook her off roughly, came at me again. This time I didn't dodge. I stepped in, caught his wrist using the technique Reggie taught me, used his own force to redirect him into the side of my truck. Hard enough to stop his momentum, not hard enough to cause real injury. He bounced off the metal, staggered, breathing hard. You're done, I said quietly. Walk away, before this gets worse. You think you're tough? Adrian was shouting now, aware of witnesses gathering from the nearby office buildings. You think you can take her from me? She was never yours, Adrian. She was never really mine either. She's just someone who uses people until they stop providing value, and now neither of us is providing value anymore. I got in my truck, started the engine. Adrian pounded on the hood once, impotent rage, pure performance, then stepped back. Lila was crying now. Dramatic, public, completely theatrical. Daniel, please, don't leave like this. I put the truck in reverse, backed out carefully, and drove away slowly, legally. No speeding, no reckless driving, just calm departure. 3 blocks later, Adrian's BMW appeared in my rearview mirror. Close. Way too close. Aggressive. He was following me. I turned left at the next intersection. He turned left. I turned right. He turned right. No pretense, no subtlety. My phone rang. Jane. Where are you? Driving home, Adrian's following me. He's about 6 feet off my bumper. Get somewhere public, right now. Multiple witnesses. I headed toward downtown, toward evening traffic, toward the shopping district where cameras covered every intersection. Adrian stayed on me the whole way, swerving between lanes, honking, making absolutely terrible decisions. At a red light, he pulled alongside in the left lane, window down. "Pull over!" he screamed, face contorted with rage. "We're settling this like men." Light turned green. I accelerated normally, maintaining speed limit. Adrian floored it, tried to cut me off by swerving into my lane. Overcompensated. His BMW's back end fishtailed wildly, clipped a parked sedan, and spun 90 degrees. He ended up blocking the intersection, hood smoking slightly, front bumper damaged. I kept driving, checked my mirror. Adrian climbed out of his car, examined the damage, saw the gathering crowd, saw multiple people recording on phones, saw the consequences of his anger catching up in real time. I drove 3 more blocks, pulled into a grocery store parking lot, and sat there letting my heart rate return to normal. My phone buzzed. Text from Jane. "Got the video. Someone posted it already on a local traffic group. Adrian looks completely unhinged. This is perfect." I texted back. "He tried to run me off the road, multiple witnesses." "Even better. This goes straight to the hospital review. Surgeon demonstrating dangerous behavior in public. They can't ignore this." Another text arrived, this time from Mike Torres, the security guard. "Saw the video of Dr. Cole. Want to file a formal report? I can connect you with the right people." I stared at the text for a long moment. Filing a report felt vindictive, excessive, like taking things too far. Then I remembered Lila's messages calling me weak, remembered her telling friends I'd never do anything, remembered her moving in with Adrian while expecting me to fund her life. I texted Mike back. "Yes, I'll file a report. What do I need to do?" "Come by the hospital tomorrow. I'll have someone from risk management meet you. Bring any video evidence you have." "Thank you." I drove home, feeling strangely calm, not happy, not satisfied, just clear. Adrian had made his choice to follow me, to drive recklessly, to demonstrate his anger publicly. I hadn't made him do any of that. I'd just stopped preventing the consequences. Adrian kicked Lila out 12 days after the chase incident. She showed up at my condo at 9:15 p.m. on a Wednesday, dragging 2 suitcases and a garbage bag full of belongings, mascara running in dark streams down her face, engagement ring still glinting on her finger. I heard her knocking before I reached the door. Frantic, desperate knocking. Daniel, please, I need to talk to you." I opened the door, but kept the chain lock engaged. Looked at her through the 6-inch gap. "What do you want?" "Can I come in, please, just for a few minutes?" "No. Daniel, I have nowhere else to go." "That sounds like a problem you should have considered before moving in with your ex-boyfriend." Adrian kicked me out. She was crying harder now, full breakdown mode. He said I'm creating too much financial burden. He said he can't afford to support me. He said I need to figure out my own situation and stop expecting him to solve it. Sounds like Adrian's smarter than I gave him credit for. "Please, Daniel, I'm begging you. I have nowhere to go. No money, no credit cards. My phone barely works because I'm on some emergency service now. My parents won't talk to me. Jenna won't let me stay with her anymore. I have nothing." "You have exactly what you built." "What does that mean?" "It means you spent 3 years taking everything I provided while contributing nothing. You moved in with another man expecting me to continue funding your life. You called me weak and said I'd never have the courage to cut you off. Well, I did. And now you're discovering what life is like when you have to actually support yourself. I made a mistake. I see that now. Can't we just talk about this? Work through it? You don't abandon someone you love. You moved in with your ex-boyfriend. I'm just supporting your choice to figure yourself out independently. That's what you wanted, remember? Space, independence, clarity. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Lila. But it's happening anyway. I started closing the door. Good luck with your growth journey. Wait, please. She shoved her hand through the gap, preventing me from closing it completely. I'm still your fiancé. We're still engaged. Take off the ring. She clutched her left hand to her chest protectively. No. This ring represents our commitment. That ring represents a relationship that ended when you moved in with another man. It's my property. Give it back. I'm not giving it back. We can still work this out. We can't. We're done. We were done the moment you texted me to stay supportive while living with Adrian. I'm just the only one who's accepted that reality. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. Take off the ring and leave it in the mailbox. Or don't. Either way, you're not my anything anymore. You're just someone I used to know who made terrible choices and is now facing consequences. I pulled my hand away, let the door close, engaged the deadbolt. She pounded on the door for another 10 minutes, screaming, crying, begging, saying she was sorry, saying she loved me, saying we could fix this if I just gave her one more chance. I turned on music to drown out the noise and went to the kitchen to make dinner. Eventually, the knocking stopped. I looked through the peephole. She was gone. Through the window, I watched her load her suitcases back into her car, the car that no longer had insurance coverage because I'd removed her from my policy. She sat in the driver's seat for a long time, head on the steering wheel, shoulders shaking. Then she started the car and drove away. I didn't know where she went. Didn't care. My phone started blowing up within minutes. Texts from numbers I didn't recognize, from Lila's friends, from people I barely knew. You made Lila homeless. She's sleeping in her car. How can you be so heartless? She came to you for help and you turned her away. That's cruel beyond words. She made one mistake and you're destroying her entire life over it. You're supposed to love her. This isn't love. This is revenge. I read each message once, then deleted it without responding. The texts kept coming. 10 messages, 20, 30. I turned off my phone entirely and finished making dinner in silence. Around 11 p.m., someone knocked on my door again. Different knock this time. Firm, official. I looked through the peephole. Police officer. I opened the door, left the chain engaged. Evening, sir. We got a call about a domestic disturbance at this address. Are you Daniel Keene? I am. Your fiancé says you locked her out of her home and took her belongings. This is my condo. My name on the lease. She moved out 2 weeks ago to live with her boyfriend. She came back tonight wanting to move back in. I declined. So this is your residence? Exclusively mine. Has been for 4 years. She was staying here but never had legal tenancy. The officer consulted his notepad. She says you stole her credit cards and canceled her phone. I removed her as an authorized user from my personal accounts. The cards were mine, issued in my name, with her as an authorized user at my discretion. I stopped exercising that discretion. The phone was on my plan. I suspended the additional line. So no property belonging to her is in your possession? Nothing she has any legal claim to. The officer nodded slowly. She's pretty upset out there. I imagine she is. This is a civil matter, not criminal. But I'd suggest you document everything in case she escalates. Get cameras if you don't have them. Keep records of all communications. Already doing that. Good. Sorry to bother you, sir. Have a good night. He left. I closed the door, engaged both locks, and returned to the living room. Looked out the window. Police car was gone. Lila's car was still there, parked across the street, engine off. She sat there for another hour, then finally drove away. I installed a security camera on my front door the next morning. Jane called Friday afternoon, voice tight with controlled excitement. Hospital administration finished their review. Adrian suspended for 90 days pending additional investigation. What did they find? 3 formal complaints from nurses about his temper and physically aggressive behavior in the OR. Multiple instances of him throwing surgical instruments when frustrated. One incident where he grabbed a resident's arm hard enough to leave bruises when the resident questioned his technique. All documented, all substantiated, all previously ignored until the public incident with you made them liability concerns. He's done at Harbor General. Not officially fired yet, but effectively done. No surgeon comes back from 90-day suspension with a file like his. Even if they let him return, no one will want to work with him. Nurses will refuse his surgeries. Residents will request different rotations. His career there is over. And Lila? PR department is reviewing her employment. Apparently having an affair with a suspended surgeon while engaged to someone else reflects poorly on hospital's professional standards. Who knew? Jane's tone was pure satisfaction. I haven't heard directly, but Jenna posted something yesterday about helping a friend through unexpected career challenges. She won't last at Jenna's long. Jenna likes drama but hates extended inconvenience. Agreed. Lila's running out of options fast. Jane paused. There's something else. Adrian's lawyer contacted mine about the separation. He's pushing hard for a quick, clean divorce now. No contested assets, no alimony demands, no fighting over anything. He just wants it done immediately. Because his whole life is imploding. Because everything's crumbling and he's trying to salvage what he can. His job, his reputation, his finances, his relationship with your ex-fiancée. He's attempting damage control. Are you taking the deal? Absolutely. I'm completely done with him. But first, I have a gift for Lila. 3 days later, Lila's parents received a large envelope via certified mail. Inside, complete financial documentation of everything Adrian had spent on shared expenses during his marriage to Jane. Every dinner charged to joint credit cards, every vacation, every purchase he'd made while claiming to be financially independent. Plus, detailed breakdown of Lila's expenses during the 3 weeks she lived with Adrian. Groceries, utilities, toiletries, everything Adrian had covered. Plus, my 3-year financial summary showing every dollar I'd spent supporting Lila. Housing, insurance, food, entertainment, personal expenses, $139,000 total. Plus, selected screenshots of messages. Lila calling me weak. Lila telling Jenna she could keep both of us. Lila admitting the affair. Lila describing her arrangement as practical rather than emotional. And finally, a letter from Jane explaining everything in clear, professional language. Mr. and Mrs. Hart, I thought you should know who your daughter has become and what she's been doing. Attached is complete financial documentation of how Daniel Keene subsidized her life for 3 years while she conducted an affair with my soon-to-be ex-husband. Also attached are her own words describing her actions and intentions. I believe parents deserve truth about their children's character. Lila's mother called me 4 days later, Tuesday morning, early. Is this true? She asked, without preamble. The documents Jane Cole sent us. Did you really pay for everything? Yes, ma'am. For 3 years? Yes. And she moved in with this surgeon while still engaged to you? Yes. Long silence. I heard her breathing, heard something that might have been crying. I'm sorry, she finally said. We raised her better than this. Or I thought we did. Clearly we failed somewhere. People make their own choices, Mrs. Hart. You can't control that. But we enabled it. We always told her she deserved the best, that she shouldn't settle, that she should put herself first. We thought we were teaching her confidence. Instead, we taught her selfishness. I appreciate you calling. She's asking us for money now, saying she's in a difficult transition period, that she needs help getting back on her feet, that family should support family during hard times. Is that true? That's one way to phrase it. What would be another way? She burned every bridge, and now she's surprised there's nowhere to stand. She treated everyone in her life as resources to be used, and now those resources have withdrawn support. That's not transition, That's consequences. Mrs. Hart was quiet for a moment. Thank you for being honest with me. We're not giving her money. That's your choice to make. She'll hate us for it. Maybe, but enabling her hasn't helped anyone, least of all her. You're a good man, Daniel. I'm sorry she couldn't see that. Thank you, Mrs. Hart. She hung up. I sat there holding my phone, feeling strange, not happy exactly, not satisfied, just complete, like a chapter closing. Lila had used everyone around her, and now everyone had stopped allowing it. That wasn't my revenge. That was just collective boundary setting. Lila requested a face-to-face meeting 2 weeks later through a mutual acquaintance. Someone I barely knew from the hospital gala, someone neutral enough that I might trust the message. She just wants to talk. Just closure. Public place, daytime, completely safe. She's not trying to manipulate. She just needs to apologize properly. I thought about declining, thought about ignoring the request entirely, but curiosity won. Saturday, 2 p.m., Riverside Park. The same park where Lila and I used to walk on Sunday mornings, back when things were good, when I still believed in what we had. I arrived exactly on time. She was already there, sitting on our old bench, wearing clothes I recognized from years ago. Preemie clothes. Nothing recent, nothing expensive. Her hair was different, cheaper cut, less styled. She'd lost weight, looked smaller somehow, diminished. Thank you for coming, she said as I approached. Didn't stand up, just watched me with red-rimmed eyes. I sat on the opposite end of the bench. What do you want? Closure, apology, something. She twisted her hands in her lap, nervous gesture. I know I hurt you. I know what I did was wrong. I need you to know that I understand that now. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What else do you want me to say, Lila? You cheated. You moved in with him. You told me to be supportive while you destroyed our relationship. And you did all of it while spending my money. There's no ambiguity here, no gray area, just choices you made deliberately. I was confused. You were selfish. I made mistakes. You made choices, calculated, deliberate, intentional choices. The only mistake was thinking there wouldn't be consequences. She pulled at her fingers, twisting the engagement ring that was somehow still there. I need help. I don't have anywhere to live. I lost my job at the hospital because of the gossip. My parents won't speak to me. Adrian won't even answer my calls. Jenna let me stay for a week, then asked me to leave. I have nothing left. You have exactly what you built. Stop saying that. What does that even mean? It means you spent 3 years taking everything while contributing nothing. You built a life on someone else's foundation, then you took a sledgehammer to that foundation expecting it to stay standing. Well, it didn't. And now you're surprised you're in the rubble. Please, Daniel, one more chance. We can start over. We can rebuild everything. I'll be different this time. I've learned so much about myself. No. Why not? Because you moved in with your ex-boyfriend and told me to stay supportive. Remember that? That was your exact phrase. Stay supportive while I figure myself out. I was wrong. You were honest. Maybe for the first time in our entire relationship. You wanted me to subsidize your affair with patience and understanding and money. You wanted to keep me as backup while pursuing him. You wanted everything without consequences. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. I read your messages. I saw what you told your friends. I know exactly how you meant it. She started crying. Full breakdown, heaving sobs, the kind of performance that used to make me fold immediately. I stood up. Where are you going? Away from this conversation. You can't just leave me here. Watch me. I started walking. She called after me, voice breaking, desperate. Daniel, please. I'm sorry. I love you. Please don't leave me like this. I need you. I kept walking. She screamed louder. If you love me, you'll help me. That's what love means. I stopped, turned around, looked at her sitting on that bench, completely falling apart, engagement ring still on her finger like a claim to something that no longer existed. "If you loved me," I said quietly, "you wouldn't have moved in with another man. You wouldn't have spent my money while sleeping with your ex. You wouldn't have called me weak to your friends while expecting me to keep supporting you. Love isn't convenience. It's not financial security. It's not having a backup plan. You never loved me, Lila. You loved what I provided." "That's not true." "Then why are you here, right now, asking for help? Is it because you miss me? Or because you need somewhere to live and someone to pay your bills?" She opened her mouth, closed it, couldn't answer. "That's what I thought." I turned away again. "Lose my number, lose my address, move on with your life. I'm done being supportive." I walked away. She screamed after me, "You'll regret this! You're making a huge mistake!" I didn't respond, just kept walking until her voice faded behind me, got in my truck, drove away, didn't look back.